Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's your boy Anubis, bringing you a final review on TriggerKing's Trigger Stop products, otherwise known as Xcaliber. First up, TriggerKing, guys. I've been playing with them now for about a week, maybe almost about that, maybe a little less. Some positive things about TriggerKing. Definitely do as advertised. Definitely are a wonderful product. I still recommend them. Now, before I continue any further, once again, guys, I'm not sponsored. I'm not being paid. I'm not being coerced in any way, shape, or form to promote TriggerKing or to talk about it or advertise it. But, however, I do recommend this product highly. For myself, though, some negative things I've noticed about it using this product for myself, personally. So these guys right here are the triggers you get, or trigger stops, or trigger covers. Now these for me worked wonderfully, but the downside was for my firing trigger, which was this one right here, I think my hand was just too much of a heavy hand for it. I didn't really give myself, I guess, the chance to really become fully adjusted to having this kind of thing. And the other downside is the fact that when you see it's applied here, if you guys can see here carefully, when it's applied, that this right here just messes with your mind while you're gaming. So while you're gaming, you see this right here, your mind tells you to hold it here, but realistically you can still hold it at the basic trigger point, which is right here. But you have all this extra length, which really isn't necessary, and which really throws me off about this is this extra curvature here, this extra finger placement area that you really don't need, because when you're first using this for the very first time, your mind's telling you to hold it here. And maybe that is the proper way of doing it, but I found it was just as comfortable and as easy as just using the first finger placement, which was would normally be where you normally would place your finger. So I think that if they removed this bottom curvature, this extra trigger area to this extra length, and like kind of shortened it and made it a little bit more stubbier, it would be better suited towards my liking, towards my need. I think another reason why this gave me some difficulty as well, and why the adhesive didn't last long, was not just to the overwhelming pressure I was putting on it, because I wasn't used to having this yet and having the trigger hair. Sometimes the screw here that you see right there that I've already adjusted to my liking would sometimes, if I pressed too hard, would dig into the little pocket between the trigger here and the inside of the controller, or sometimes would dig on the outside here. There's a little scratch there, I don't know if you can see it, would sometimes dig on the outside and get caught there, hence holding the trigger down for me without me actually pressing it. So my trigger would be going off, my gun would be shooting, and it would just continuously shoot until I, popped it back out. So I mean, the positives were, though, that the trigger stop did work when I was not applying so much pressure and when I was using it correctly. So mostly, for my part, it was my own downfall, for the reason why you guys are hearing all the negative sides for it. The only real negative side, honestly, guys, to this thing was the fact that I felt the adhesive was not strong enough. I gave it the 24 hours to bond and to adhese to the trigger, to the initial button here, the initial R2 trigger here, and I just felt like the adhesive just wasn't strong enough, at least maybe not for me, and like I said, maybe because I was too aggressive, but I felt that maybe if they used a stronger adhesive, or maybe if at some point in time I decide to use super glue and try to just keep it on like that, it would have stuck better, because the left one here, the L2 trigger here, stuck beautifully until I actually ripped it off myself. So this stuck on no matter what, but the only problem I had with the left side trigger here, and the trigger stop here, the screw you see there, I don't know how well you can see that, the only problem I had was with the screw not maintaining its position to, act as a trigger stop. So I would notice that by the end of 1 or 2 games, the screw would somehow push back into or recede back into its hole and no longer function the way I had it set to. So that was another downside to the left side, again, maybe due to my excessive pressure and force I was putting onto it. So basically, guys, my recommendation would definitely be to get these, but make sure you apply appropriate pressure and try to allow yourself to become accustomed to them first before you actually try to go all ham and go all out on them. Now, were they helpful to me? Did they improve my gameplay? 99.9% definitely, for sure. Like, I love these things. Now, will I buy a pair of my own again? Most likely. I'm not just saying that to like get more free product. Like I said, you hear me, you know, kind of whine and nag and really kind of bring the product down. But guys, honestly, for the amount you're paying for this, it is definitely worth it. They're basically turning your controller into, you know, a trigger stock controller. It's like having a SCUF controller without buying a SCUF. You're saving a ton of money, and it's so much simpler to just, you know, buy more adhesives or buy more triggers. I don't know if they sell the adhesives separately. I'm going to go look into that, and I'll try to let you guys know on Twitter, or let you know guys down in the comments down below. But definitely recommend this product. The other downside was actually applying the adhesive, like the extra adhesive that came with it, onto the trigger. I had a hard time because I got like fat, chubby fingers here, stubby fingers. So I found it hard and difficult for me to apply the adhesives into the correct positioning sometimes. So I had to kind of like work it off, because once you apply it, if you press it down, it's stuck there. You pretty much have to like take a mini shovel to scrape off the adhesive on the inside here. That was the other downside I found about the adhesives, about trying to apply a new adhesive, was that I found myself, you know, digging at this for a good half hour trying to get all the remaining residual previous adhesive that was on here off, and then trying to apply the new adhesive on. Otherwise than that, guys, again, I know it sounds like it's a really negative review, but I still recommend these. I still think they're amazing and great and wonderful products, especially for the price that you're paying for them. Guys, so make sure you guys go follow TriggerKing on Twitter and go check them out on their website, TriggerKing.com, guys. I know I've repeated myself a lot in this video. I apologize for that, but I want to make sure you guys understand. Do not apply a lot of pressure while using these, because again, the screws either tend to recede back into their alcove, or you end up yanking off the adhesive. And remember, guys, you too can play like a king.